So the younger ones will say something and more about us too. Yeah, what did we do? How much did we even like really, or did we just did they just slap us and then we just join the line? So posterity will judge us. On my own part, Mayegun's diary political, and me, Mayegun, your general overseer of the Temple of Truth. I know posterity will judge me too. The coming generation will have something that is so detailed and factual. I'm talking about the event that led to wherever Nigeria will be at that time, whether broken into pieces or still so fragile and tied together by force as it is right now. I will, and many of you on this platform too, who have contributed so immensely, will be leaving something for the coming generation. And what is that? We'll be leaving them. Also, we'll be living for them. Facts, not fictions. Truth, not lies. Of those who actually led Nigeria to wherever Nigeria will be then. So that those that they will be presented with as heroes. We can easily let them know that they are villains. They are criminals who had the opportunity of making Nigeria better, uniting the people, prospering the people, using the commonwealth of the people for the people, but they chooses to actually squander them. So selfish, so greedy, and so visionless, short-sighted as well. So we will leave something for this coming generation. That will be the truth. That's something that they never left for us, Rather, they wanted us to remember that the son of whom we are, the daughter of whom you are, don't say anything. When the elders are talking, you don't talk. Even when the criminals are talking, you don't talk because they are older. We will not be like that. That is why on Mayegun's diary political, if you are a politically correct person, this is not a place for you. If you are a bigoted soul, it's not a place for you. If you are one of those closet Ronukus, this is also not a place for you. So whatever you get on Mayegun's diary political, it is completely, undiluted. Everything you get from it is undiluted. What you make of them is totally yours. So if you can't take it, the kitchen will be warmer on Sunday. It can be hotter too. If you are here and you think the choice of word, the language are not too respectful, we advise you not to watch. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. Right? Let me take a drink.
70 years old man. Is that you? Jesus is Lord. Is that you?
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the three of us running. So they will spy on me. So you will have a limited answer here today. Another day you can bring me back. But that's part of what I do.
That's part of what he has to say. So good evening to you guys once again. Good afternoon to you. And maybe good morning to you from wherever you are joining us. So it is almost a Sunday sermon with Mayegun live. Tonight. So tonight, we are starting with this trending clip. It is a podcast where Dele, not Dele Farrotin, it's called Dele Momodu. You know him. Yeah, the ovation. So Bob D granted an interview, series of topics or subjects were discussed. And among them is where he categorically said, if you are a rich man and you claim, you have if you have between 30 and 40 million naira in Nigeria, and you think you are a poor man, no, you are a madman. That's how he said it. He also said that if you have 30 to 40 million naira, there's no point in relocating abroad. There are businesses you can do in Nigeria. And these businesses can indeed make you very rich. He even listed some. Gone are the days where people will just be pulling stats out of their asses. ignoring some certain things and then making some exaggerated, vituperations or something like that. But we won't really throw out all he has to say or all he said. In fact, I think I should. This is, the copy, this clip that I'm about to play you. Actually, the copyright of that belongs to that Teju Baby Face. It's the one who granted this interview. So I'll mix it up so that the
If you had 30-40 million in Nigeria and you think you are a poor man, I beg you are a madman. I'm sorry, I'm being brutally frank. You have 30-40 million and you can't set up a proper business in Nigeria. I beg you, think again. I know what I'm saying. It sounds stupid to you. Insecurity. There's nowhere where there's perfect security. On a single day, 3,000 people got killed in New York. The people of New York are not abandoned New York because of that. So if insecurity is your problem, in fact, you can provide your own security in Nigeria. If food is the matter, in fact, if you want to start your own ranch in Nigeria with cows and everything, with 30 million, you can start. But the attraction of going abroad, I tell people, like when you go on vacation, everybody welcomes you. You are staying with your family in the field. The day you carry all your children to another man's house and he knows you are not going to leave in a hurry, then you will see the difference. When it's a vacation, they know about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they are going back. They don't mind. They will endure. But when it becomes a permanent burden on their own family, you will be rejected. And the day you now rent your own house, that is the trauma you are going to carry almost for the rest of your life.
Which trauma? The rejection from your friends or the trauma of renting?
The trauma of renting your own house. Because now you have to face the reality of paying your own bills abroad. And there is no mercy. They are merciless. There's nothing like I'm owing NEPA. Let me go to NEPA and bribe someone or beg someone to help me. There is nothing like that. Your money finishes, your life goes. No mercy.
Right. Just for the sake of our listeners, all right, we are not going to throw we're not going to throw the baby and the bath water out. Okay? Is not completely wrong. And at the same time, is not completely right. But there are some comparisons that people shouldn't be making. Okay? So to make it easier, for the sake of those of you who are possibly planning to Japa out of Nigeria, there's one advice I give to people. Don't sell your properties, right, in Nigeria and use the money to relocate to Japa to anywhere. Don't do it. You see, a lot of people have left Nigeria on different kinds of visas, all right, with their families. They've given different reasons. You know, the economy, they're about to lose their job, or they just lost their job. They just packed together whatever was left of theirs, and they left Nigeria. Some of them have praised that decision to say, thank God for this decision. It's not easy, but I'm grateful to God I made this decision. On the other hand, we have seen people who made this decision as well. Within a year or two, they regretted it. Just like any decision you make in life. And that is why in this era of Japa and Jakpada, there are factors that lead to people deciding to Japa. Let's start with that. When this APC, Ebekebe, when they came to power and then decided to destroy this Nigeria economy as it is. So when you have, I'm using past tense now, when you add the economy of $570 billion, where people had their jobs and their pay, then if you are earning 150,000 naira, right? You are possibly able to even buy a ticket and fly from Lagos to Abuja, or fly from Benin to Kano. Because a ticket from Lagos to Abuja back then was around 14,000 naira. So if you are earning 100,000 naira, you are a big boy. If you're earning 150,000 naira, you may even be going to London for an holiday. That was how, I mean, it wasn't great, but that was how average it was before these guys came in. So today's Nigeria economy, the total economy is now valued at $197 billion. A shrunk economy. So which means nearly $400 billion has been wiped off your economy in 10 years, which has now created more people to have lost their businesses, lost their jobs, right? And in the process, a lot of people chooses to, before they lose everything, to sell whatever they have left and Japa. In the process of that Japa, right? Others ran into trouble, storming water, different factors. We have had people, after they left Nigeria, they started having problems with their partners. You know, different stories that eventually sort of like just jeopardized every, they were doing fine in Nigeria, but there are other things within the home that is not so public, that later came public through their Japa process. So we have had people who have had regrets. And we have had people as well who have remained so grateful for that decision, because, or else, we have so many of them right now who have jackpot their own colleagues who were doing fine in that contraption 8-9 years ago. They are now depending on them. True story. But let's start with what they did. 30 million naira. It's a lot of money. It's not a small money. Back then, even now, it's not a small money. But the value of it is the issue. Let's say you have 30 million to 40 million worth of properties or whatever, or, because I do not know if he is talking about having 30 million naira, 40 million naira cash, or he's talking about being worth, like liquidity. If you put everything, sell your everything, you still worth 40 million. Here you get now. I don't know if that was, if that is what Bob D is referring to. You understand? But whatever it is, let's look at the value of that 30, 40 million naira. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 years ago, right? See that 10 million naira. Let's start with 10 million naira. 10 million naira 10 years ago was like that's like 50,000. That's like 50,000 pounds. 10 million. So which means 30 million naira 10 years ago, right, was like 150,000 pounds. Even here in the UK, 150,000 pounds is a lot of money. It's enough for you to set up anything you want to set up in Nigeria without having to, considering whatever the economy was then. So what is 30 million naira today? Ladies and gentlemen, 30 million naira today, 10 years after, is a paltry 23,000, and that is approximately 23,000 pounds. You see the difference? 150,000 pounds to mere 23,000 pounds. This is just a very good explanation of what has happened to your economy. Okay? So somebody who lives abroad with a job, good credit, can actually take out 25,000 pounds, which will be a bit over that 30 million naira. In fact, I've had people who have taken money from here, 50,000, 60,000 pounds, to either go and complete a house project in Nigeria or one business idea introduced to them, including having this cow business they call ranching, this local one in Nigeria. And they've all come back with so much regret. Those who are yet to come back, they are full of lamentation every day. And that's why my own first advice is this: if you are planning to jump up from that contraption, maybe I'm not a financial advisor, so therefore my advice is just very much pedestrian. It's not so professional, whatever, but it is a layman advice. Speak to professionals and tell them what you can. If you have to sell your assets, do not sell your assets to process Japa only because it's like, it's like a gamble, so to say. But if you want to sell your asset that you want to Japa, then you can put your asset in a fixed setting. You can, I don't know, like, that's why I say speak to professionals, where if things don't go as planned, you can easily go back to the place and you won't be losing everything all in all. Kind of an advice. But let's come to that part of abroad is this, abroad is that. From his own personal experience, Dele Momodu once said that not until he turned 55 or 54, that was when he built his first house. Because he lived abroad, he had a business, all right? So, until he turned 54, 55, he was never rich enough or had enough money to build himself a house in Nigeria. But here is something that the dishonesty of some of these guys who want to give you motivation, I'll be motivational speaker from that contraption these days. They are very dishonest. Dele Momodu is also very dishonest. Okay, that's why I said it's not completely right and it's not completely wrong. Okay, Dele Momodu and his family, they have a mortgage in UK. And it was just after maybe 4 or 5 years of himself in the UK when he said he ran away from the junta in Nigeria. Today, Dele Momodu has a house here in the UK, but it's a mortgage because that's their system. Nigeria is a place where you have to put together resources and build yourself a nice house, or whatever your money can, really do, right? So now talking about bills. In Nigeria, don't you pay bills? Do you actually really go to the NEPA and bribe them? All of you in Nigeria, is that what you do? You go to NEPA and bribe them so that you don't have to pay your electricity bill. Is that true? Listen, I'm not saying that there are none of you who are like shortchanging the system, tapping your wire. I did it when I was in Nigeria too. So it's not something I'm not familiar with. But does that stop you from paying your bills? Like when he said in abroad, it is so depressing that you cannot go to the electricity office, which is, he said, you can't go to NEPA and bribe them and say, I don't have money for electricity, I don't have this and that. You see, the point here is this. Dele Momodu, if you are watching me, if by any chance you come across this video, you are very much really, really dishonest. I don't know where that is coming from. In Nigeria of today, it is not that people don't have ways of sourcing for fund to start businesses in Nigeria. How many businesses are surviving in that place? People are opening businesses every day now. There are those who are opening businesses of 100,000 naira, 200,000, 1 million naira. There are those who are opening businesses of 50 million, 100 million naira. As bad as Nigeria is, people are still bringing their money from the private ways, family, to invest, to start something. Some are starting farms. Some are doing ranches. Truly, how is that for them? And how much impact is that actually really having when the will to actually run a business in a working system, incentives to those who want to actually invest their own money in that place? How many of such protection do they have in that system? In all genuinity, how many of you have lost so much money? Genuinely, I'm not talking about those of you who are cutting corners and those of you who are using grace of God. You say, how is business? How is everything? Say, oh, my brother, and grace of God, though, we just we push arm. But behind the scene, until your face shows up on the screen and say you are this, you are that, now grace of God, everybody they use. People are still, like even people from abroad, they are taking loans and investing it in Nigeria. Some will tell you that it's been working well. It's not easy. Here you get now. But we have stories of those who have had their fingers burned. It is not the people per se. When those in government, whose policies continues to actually stifle, competition in such a way that is to stifle every smaller businesses to fold up. Macro businesses in that contraction have been suffering endlessly. There are people who have personal testimonies to tell you, if your business has anything to do with, agriculture, for example, people will tell you their own sorry tale in the answer of the Fulani terrorists. Oh, it says something about if it is insecurity that is your worries. In New York, 3,000 people are killed every day. This is the problem. 3,000 people killed in New York every day. Is that not outrageous? Like, fine, it may not be like every day 3,000, but what he's saying is averagely. All of you where they live for New York, on Mayegun's Diary Political, I beg you. Do you know that 3,000 people every day, times 10 days is 30,000. Times 30 days is 90,000 people. That's something.